The Jared Dillian Show.
I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show. We're talking about work ethic here and how it pertains to money. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. This is the Jared Dillian Show. You can also go to my website, which I recommend you do. There's some good stuff there. You can go to jareddillianmoney.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at DailyDirtNap. What do you do with your free time? What do you do with your free time? I've had free time in the past. not in the present, but I've had free time in the past. What do you do with your free time? What time do you get home from work? Let's say you get home at like 5:30. And you make dinner, the TV's on, it's the news. What do you do? I mean, when do you go to bed? 10, 11? I mean, that's like 4.5, 5.5 hours. I mean, look, this is one of my favorite quotes of all time, and I don't know who it came from. The most important decision you'll make in your entire life is what to do with the next 24 hours. I'll say that again. The most important decision you'll make in your entire life is what to do with the next 24 hours. So for a lot of people, like, time disappears. They get home at 5:30 and they watch TV and they watch more TV and they're on the computer and they're messing around on social media and time just disappears, which is great. You're relaxing. It's good. It's good to relax. But what could you do with that extra 4 or 5 hours in the day if you used it productively? What could you do with the time on the weekend if you used it productively? How much free time do you actually have? What else do you do with your free time? Do you play video games, Netflix, TV? These are all diversions, you know. So I'm not like some kind of taskmaster and saying you need to be working 24 hours a day. I mean, everybody needs to relax. Let me tell you something. When I relax, I really relax. Like, just this weekend, okay? I've been working so hard. My wife was not home. She was traveling. It was a Sunday, and I'm like, you know what? What the hell? I'm just going to watch football. I have not watched football on TV in probably 10 years. And I sat down on the couch, and for about 2 hours, I watched football. And one of the things that amazed me about football is the camera work. Like, the camera angles in these games are so insane. They have like these flying cameras and like cameras on wires and drones. I mean, it's insane camera work. It's such an experience. I mean, you know this. You watch football all the time. I haven't seen football in 10 years. You know why I haven't seen football in 10 years? Because I've been working. And it's not that I dislike football. I just don't have time for that stuff. Some people, they sit down 1 o'clock on Sunday and the whole day is gone. Football. And I think if you're on your deathbed, are you going to say, man, I really wish I watched more football? You know, I mean, you got to think long term. You got to have perspective on this stuff. I basically don't sit still. Like, even when I have free time, I'm using it productively. I have a hobby. I am a DJ. I am an electronic music DJ. So if I grab a couple hours on the weekend, I'm in my music room DJing. And I'm not just killing time. It's like a real hobby. I play in clubs. Like, I actually have like a music life, like outside of work. So I don't sit still. And people talk about TV shows all the time. You know, the football thing is like social currency. You know, like, everybody talks about social media and Twitter, like all these games and all this drama and ESPN. I'm like, what? I have no idea what's going on. They do it with basketball too. TV shows. I have no idea what TV shows people are watching. I mean, I remember Breaking Bad a while back, and I actually got the DVDs for that, and I watched about half of it. But really the last TV shows that I watched were Lost and House back in the mid-2000s. And I kind of was like depressed back then, and I wasn't really working, so I didn't, that was fine. But now it's like I don't have time for that stuff. People will recommend a show like, oh, you got to watch this show. You'll get sucked in. And I'm like, actually, that's not what I want. I don't want to get sucked in. That's actually bad. It's bad if I get sucked in because then I'm just going to lose all this time that I don't have. What do you do with your free time? Do you spend your free time on all this stuff? What could you be doing with your free time? I don't know. Movies, I will make time to go to the movies 2, 3, 4 times a year. And, like I said, when I have leisure time, it's leisure time. I take a vacation. I go to Mexico. I go to Riviera Maya. I get a very quiet resort, and I relax. So when I have leisure time, I use the leisure time. And this is, by the way, all this stuff. If you had a camera trained on me in my house, you would see that I just don't sit still. I'm always doing stuff. And that is how you get rich. That is how you get rich. So you might say that, you work all the time. You're working 2 jobs. You're working 16 hours a day, and you're not getting rich. So what's going on? Well, let's talk about that. Perhaps you have 2 low-paying jobs, and we need to get you out of these low-paying jobs, and we can have a whole discussion on how to get higher-paying jobs or how to negotiate for higher pay. And we've talked about that on the show. We've talked about how to get paid more. So, changing careers requires some work, it requires some effort, and it requires some education. And getting paid more in the same job requires some negotiation. You might have to threaten to leave. So these are all things that you can do. Because if you really are working that hard, if you're working 16 hours a day, then you need to be appreciated for that. So, yeah, like working 2 jobs is exhilarating. I've done it twice in my life. And I love doing it. I like my work. Let's take a call. Mark from Missouri. Hi, Mark. How's it going?
Hi, Jared. My son works hard. He's a hard-working man. He drives a heavy-duty wrecker. And he was talking to the guys at work when the repo thing got caught up. He does not invest. He keeps cash in a safe. And he was worried about inflation. So I got to digging and looking, and the best things I can find for him was the Series I savings bond from Treasury Direct. I don't know if you're aware of those or
yeah,
what it
I
is,
am. Yeah,
but it's, and I can't find the negative anywhere in this thing. It's the compound thing of 0.5% interest plus the CPIU compounded every 6 months. And for the life of me, I just can't see a negative here. It's much better than the safe. And if inflation does jump to 4 or 5% a year, he'd be getting 4.5 or 5.5. Where's the negative on this?
Honestly, the inflation protected stuff. So, one thing you can do is you can get the Series I bonds at Treasury Direct, or you could just get there's lots of mutual funds that invest in tips, and you can just buy a mutual fund that invests in tips. I'm super excited about inflation protected stuff, whether it's tips or Series I bonds. Like, I think that's a fantastic idea. Basically, it's a little bit complicated for the radio, but it's sort of it's a play on real rates, and I like it. I like those bonds.
Yeah, the last 6 months is like 1.9%, which isn't great, but it's a heck of a lot better than 10,000 in a safe.
It's better than a lot of things. It's better than 10,000 in a safe. It's better than 10,000 in a checking account. And honestly, I'm not super worried about inflation, but buying 10-year notes at 1.7% is not super attractive either for reasons that you know about. So, yeah, I like the Series I bonds.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I just like to say I thought there might be a catch in there that I wasn't seeing.
Nope, you got it.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Mark. Yeah, so getting back to the discussion, by the way, tips, Series I bonds, that is good stuff. I am not the hardest working guy in the world. There are people that work harder than me. I still have some downtime. And by the way, I live in the South, so people don't work so hard down here. I have this great story. I moved down here in 2010. It's about 2011. I work in an office building, and the power went out in the office building. One of the transformers outside had blown. This was like 10 in the morning. Everybody goes home. They all left. Everybody in the building left. They had the power on like 45 minutes later, and I worked the rest of the day. Everybody else just went home. That is hashtag the South. But I like to work, and some people don't like to work. Some people hate their job. And this is sort of a separate issue, but if you hate your job, what are you doing? Like, I've known people who have hated their job and stayed in the same job for 30 years, miserable, and hated every day going to work. Why would you do that? It's not about money, it's not about job security, it's not about any of that stuff. If you're really that unhappy, don't do that. Do something different. Take some action. That's crazy. I'm telling you, I've heard those stories. Get a different job. I'm being serious. If you are unhappy, why do you want to stay unhappy? Some people just don't like to work, and there is this quality called inertia. An object at rest tends to stay at rest, and some people don't like to work, and that's not me. If I am sitting around, I am going crazy. Anyway, you see these people that are super rich, billionaires, 100 millionaires, whatever. Somebody posted on Facebook the other day, there was some academic article. Somebody figured out it's all luck, all billionaires. It's complete luck. It's a roulette wheel. And that is absurd. I'd say it's about 0% luck. And that, my friends, is my rant for today. I'm Jared Dillian. This is the Jared Dillian Show.